Hi, Josh Sucher from Train Heroic, and I've heard quite a bit across the network lately from coaches that are using Train Heroic on a daily basis to deliver the programming that's going on in each class, right? That might be a jumpstart class, it might be a total conditioning class, but now they want to take things to the next level. They might have a team coming in, and they want to actually train that team. In some cases, they're using Parizi's programming that's already in their library, but in many cases, they're actually looking to create their own, to create an experience for these teams so that the teams come back, they refer other athletes, and so on and so forth. So I'd love to walk through that situation and scenario, right? So to date, what we've done, if I look at the left-hand menu, I'm going to go to teams, right? And what we've instructed each coach to do really is to create teams for each class that they run, right? So right now I'm on the Atlantic Club's account. A general flow would be, hey, I'm going to create a team. This is going to be a Parizi Jumpstart Basics team, right? Now each team has an access code, and this will make more sense once we talk about actually team training, right? But right now, in order to create a team, you also have to create an access code. Eventually, when we talk about team training, you're actually going to give out this code to athletes so they can access their training. This initial setup, right, where you're setting up your teams as classes, it's just for your coaching staff. So they don't need this code. As a coach, they'll have access. So I'm going to just create the team. So what happens when you create a team is we create a listing of all these teams. Again, initially these teams in phase one, all they are classes, right? So the idea here is you're creating those classes so that your staff, yourself, you guys have the programming that you could run on a daily basis, right? In the top right-hand corner, you're going to hit add from library, and if you hover over any date, you can do the same thing here. You're adding something from the library, and here's a list of the program that Parizi's put out for those various classes, right? So in this case, it's Parizi Jumpstart Basic. Just like a Google Calendar, you click it, it turns it on, and it automatically updates this thing in real time. Okay, so there's nothing else you have to do. It's a one-time setup. So now you're in a place where I'm going to click back to teams to just kind of demonstrate this. You can do this for any class that you're running, right? And again, the objective, the job that we're trying to do here is actually just give you and all of your coaching staff access to programming in real time, right? So we're not actually inviting any athlete to the team. We're just setting up the class. So how might that actually look to the coaches in real time? So let's check this out, right? So once I have this set up, I'm going to actually just go to my phone. I'm just holding my phone in my hand here. Okay, so a coach, and eventually we'll get into showing the athlete, but a coach now can click on the app, right? And this is actually me just using the Atlantic Club's account, but what they see first are all the athletes, but importantly, right now we're not training an individual athlete, right? We're training a team. We're training like in a class setting, and I can select the specific team, right? So in this case, it's Parizi Jumpstart Basics, and you'll see above there's a calendar or a schedule. There's 3 of these sessions programmed a week, right? So I can click on the date to get to the session. This is session 2 of the week, right? And even if it's a Thursday, right, and I'm working with an athlete that it's their first or second time in, I'm probably using, this session from the 16th to the 18th. The idea is this just helps me run class, right? So it takes me through what we're actually doing, and I can see a summary, and I can dive deep if I want. If I click on the actual, so I'm going to actually click on the session, it'll take me into the session, right? And I can do whatever I want here. I can jump from day to day, week to week, right? Adjust this. And again, if I'm training a different type of class, I'm just here. I'm teams, and I'm looking at another class. So if it's like if I had total conditioning set up, right? So again, the idea initially is to set up all of your classes so that your coaching staff knows exactly what to do, depending on who they're training, right? So let's get into a layer deeper, right? We've got a couple of very kind of common questions. One is, well, the schedule doesn't work for us, right? Totally get that. So what you can do is you can actually jump into any of these sessions. If you click in the top right-hand corner, you're going to click copy and edit. So what you're saying is, hey, I don't want to use Parizi's version of the schedule or of the training. I actually want to edit. So if you hit copy and edit, what we do is we actually make a copy of the training session for yourself, right? And you can do anything you want from an editing standpoint. It might mean changing movements. It might mean adding reps and sets. It could be reordering. But if I go back to the calendar, once something's unpublished, right? We did that just by clicking here and clicking unpublish or publish. Now you have full control over it. So, maybe our schedule is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I can move things around. I could adjust things however I want once I've unpublished. And then I actually just need to click publish. I can batch publish things up top. But so there's your ability to actually quickly put programming on a class or a team, right? And then importantly, adjust things to your liking. Okay, next I want to jump into this concept of, hey, we actually want to train a team of athletes that are coming in. So a question we just had is, hey, I've got a bunch of athletes coming in. We're going to train this team, and we want to design our own training plan and give it to the team, right? So what you can do is now I'm going to create a team. The intention of this team is a little bit different, right? We're going to call this team East High School Soccer, okay? Now, this is important now. So I'm going to give East High School Soccer 2019 is going to be the code. When I go and meet with those athletes, I'm going to let them know, hey, this is how our coaching staff is going to connect with you. We're going to deliver your training through Train Heroic. In order to connect with us, you need to download the app. It's totally free, and you're going to type in whatever access code you set up. In this case, East High School Soccer 2019. You're going to hit Create Team. It's really important they get that message because that's how they're actually going to gain access to this calendar, right? So now you're in here and you're either creating a training session, you're adding an entire program that you've designed or you're adding an entire program you designed in your library. So I can click Add from the library, go to Programs, okay? Here's a list of the programs that you have, right? So let's say, hey, here's our Cedar Stars 10-week test program, and we want it to start on a specific date. It then updates this calendar in real time, okay? And again, you could always go and design a training session as well. The beauty of building something in your library is that it's stored there forever. Right, so if this group is going to come in and I just in real time wanted to create a session, I'd hit create session. We give you just a blank template. You add blocks, right? So the first block might be, hey, we're going to back squat. Then I'm going to add another block. We're going to bench press. Once you add a movement on the right-hand side, you select the prescription. That's a rep scheme. Select custom. Select the number of sets. Then each of these columns can be customized. So right now we're showing reps and weight. Maybe I want 3x10. I can leave the weight blank. I could program at a percentage. I could put notes in here like rest, 2 minutes between sets. I can do cool things like, hey, instead of block A and block B, and you'll see the summary here, I can combine those. So I've got A1 and A2, right? And I can do A1 through 10 if I want, right? And I'm gonna, again, create a custom rep scheme on bench press. I want 3x10. I'm gonna leave the weight blank, okay? I'm gonna add another block. And this is something I want to demonstrate as well. When you add a block, rather than these standalone exercises that have the ability to track sets and reps and weight, I actually can click New Circuit. And this is actually really important to note. A circuit is just your ability to program with text only, right? So maybe we program, instead of calling it circuit, we're going to call this our dynamic warm-up, right? And this is going to be 10 yards of now on inchworms, A skips, B skips, lateral lunges, right? I can just list things out. It makes it really simple and easy for the athlete. And importantly, they don't need to track anything except for just saying they did it. Now, it just looks like text to us. So I could, if I want as a coach, I could add video. If I click add video and I type in, inchworm, I can click to add the inchworm. I can click to add A skips. I can add B skips, right? I can add as many as I want. And the beauty is, just like a back squat or a bench press is saved, this dynamic warm-up is saved as soon as I hit save circuit to the library. It's always saved within the session, but if I save it to my library, I can search for it later and just reuse it. I'm going to change the name of this to prep instead of conditioning, and I'm going to reorder this. So I'm going to move this above A. Okay, I want to get our dynamic warm-up before our back squat and our bench press. Okay, I'm going to save this circuit to my library as well. And I'll save it. That way I can, again, reuse it. What I mean by that is if I go to add a block and I search for dynamic warm-up, here it is, right? So if I click on that, it's just ready to roll. I don't need to recreate it. I'm going to hit the trash can to delete it just for this case. But now I'm going to click back to the calendar. So what happened here is I created a team for East High School Soccer. I'm going to meet with them tomorrow, right? I created an actual session for them. I'm going to drag that to tomorrow instead of today. And as soon as I hit publish, everybody on the team in real time is going to have access to that from their phone, right? Now I can do some really cool things like highlight, hit Control-C to copy, and I'm just going to paste this just to show that, you can design a week, highlight, copy, paste that week, right? I can take these 2 weeks, export this to our library, right? Here's going to be our 2-week strength program, right? I'll save it. And the beauty of that is if I build a program like that, it's now stored in my library. And if I ever want, I can go add from library. I can go to programs, and I've got that 2-week strength program. I decide when I want it to start, right? If it's the second, and I hit OK, we're going to outfit this whole calendar with that program. From there, I could do whatever I want. I could adjust it, move it around. But this gives you as a coach just a good place to invest your time so you've got templates that you can reuse with athletes. And so let's go and look at what this would mean to the athlete, right? So East High School soccer. And additionally, I'm actually going to click on athletes. We had one athlete on on our roster. So I want to show you, just like I'm adjusting a team's calendar and making changes, when I go to athletes, if I wanted to train an individual, think personal training, I can design templates or a session, go to their calendar. So I'm going to go to Brandon's as an example. And I'm going to say, you know what, let's start a program for Brandon on the 23rd. I'm going to create a session. No, I'm actually going to add something from our library. I'm going to go to programs, and I'm going to add this 2-week strength program to Brandon. Just to keep it simple, I'll start it on the 19th, just so there's something there today. And I'll hit add to calendar. So now Brandon in real time has this on his phone. Okay, so let's go and look at what that actually means. So I'm going to throw my phone back on the screen. All right, so check this out. I'm going to click on the app. Here I land, right? I've got my teams. Let's go ahead and click on athletes, actually. And let's go to Brandon. So here's Brandon's schedule, right? And this is what he's seeing. And I can click here in the top left as a coach and jump into any athlete. But I'm going to, again, stay on Brandon, right? But if you had multiple, you can see that. And you can see what he's supposed to do today. And if you wanted, you could actually log for Brandon. So you could jump into his session by clicking on it. You can see how easy it is for him to just mark something as completed. Because it was on a different day or scheduled for a different day, we'll ask him if he wants to move it. I'm going to click no thanks. Right? If he didn't know how to do anything here, he can click on the videos and actually see each video. Right? And again, this is something your staff can do as well. I'm going to click back, and now if you look up top, I'm going to scan across. We've got our superset of back squat and bench press. Right? So again, this experience is for the athlete or the coach, but I can actually log what I did. Right? I can add sets. If I wanted, if we got here and something needed to change, whether I was the athlete who said, hey, I couldn't back squat, or a coach that said, hey, we're not using barbells today for whatever reason, I can click these 3 dots. I can swap exercises. Well, maybe instead of a back squat, we're going to have, I don't know, some type of lunge. All right, type in lunge. Let's go dumbbell lunge. Right, and now I'm adjusting and moving things around. And again, if I just scan across at the end of the session, we'll ask them how tough it was. We track how long it takes, so they could adjust that if they need to. They could put some comments in, hit finish session. Right, now I'm back to my calendar. Right, and again, we're just on a coach's profile here looking at Brandon specifically. Right, and if I wanted to, I can click on Brandon. Let's jump into teams. Let's say, hey, what's East High School doing quickly? Here we are. Right, so let's click East High School. Here's their sessions. Right, so I can see day by day what they're doing. There's actually quite a bit I can do as a coach here too. Like I can jump here and publish or edit things even from my phone. The initial setup should be done on a computer, but you can do quite a bit to use this as a tool. So that's how you would train individual athletes, how you train a team, and how you set up your classes. I know that was really long-winded, but I hope this really helps just to clarify what you can do and what this tool is capable of. So thanks. Have an awesome day, and our team's standing by to answer questions as you have.